more insight, more understanding. This is Fox 23 News in Depth with Rick Marino.
For the first time since she announced she's running for governor, Oklahoma House Minority Leader Cyndi Munson stopped by Fox 23 to talk, unedited, about why she jumped into the governor's race. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nathan Thompson. Rick has the night off. The race to be Oklahoma's next governor got underway early this year with the first candidate announcing all the way back in mid-January. While many Republicans jumped into the race, some of them you've already seen here on In Depth. Tonight we're going in depth with the only Democrat to announce she's seeking the state's highest office. Cyndi Munson joined us recently to talk to Rick about why she's running for governor. It's unedited.
Back up the turnpike and joining me on the program to talk about her campaign for governor is House Minority Leader Cyndi Munson. Thanks for joining me, Leader Munson. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
I usually ask candidates what got them off the couch, but you have been in office for a while.
Yeah.
Why make the jump to governor?
Yes, well, great question. First, I want to say thank you for having me. Great to see you again. Love being in Tulsa. I made the decision to run for governor because I felt like it was really important in this upcoming election cycle that Oklahomans had a choice when it comes to somebody who understands their real life experiences. I sort of joke, and people have described me this way also, as just being a normal person, somebody who knows what it's like to pay rent and put gasoline in your car and buy groceries and understand what the economic challenges are right now in our state and in our country. And I felt like it was really important for a young woman to be a voice for Oklahomans and making sure that all people feel truly represented by the leadership in their state. I have had the great pleasure of serving in the legislature for 10 years. I'm currently the Democratic leader in the House, and I've loved every second of it. I've worked really hard to connect with people, even those who aren't young women, to make sure they know they're seen and heard and valued. And I wanted to take that on a statewide level. And so earlier this year, I made the decision to run for governor and launched in middle of April.
So let me ask you this, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this. The Democrats did not lose any seats last fall, but the state still voted 77 counties for Donald Trump. How are you approaching that as a candidate?
Yeah, last election cycle, what it showed me was that there is strength in making sure you have strong campaign infrastructure, that you're on the ground talking to constituents about the issues that really matter to them. And yes, while all 77 counties went for the current president, there were plenty of people who didn't vote for him. And quite frankly, they have different opinions on what's going on at a state level. And for us to hang on to all of our seats in both the House and the Senate says a lot about the strength of Democratic candidates and the issues that it is that we're talking about across the state. Again, I've announced in the middle of April, so I have been out on the campaign trail now for 4.5 months. I've been traveling in urban Oklahoma, rural Oklahoma, and the things that I'm hearing about have less to do about partisan issues and more about leaders who understand the everyday lives of Oklahomans. One, concerning education, of course. People are not happy that we're ranked 50th in the nation for public schools. The second thing is health care, especially with recent cuts to Medicaid, and that we know will be hit here in a couple years and will absolutely harm our healthcare system, especially in rural Oklahoma. Folks are really nervous about hospitals closing, services ending, and what they're going to do to take care of themselves and their families. And then, of course, the economy is always an issue that people are worried about. Are we making enough money, in terms of a living wage so that we can pay our bills? Are we able to afford groceries? Things like that are what I'm hearing on the campaign trail already. And it's less to do about being a Democrat or Republican and who's president and the leadership of our state. And I think what we've seen, especially in the last 8 years, but really 20 years with Republican leadership, we have moved to the bottom on every really important list when it comes to the good stuff, and at the top of the list when it comes to the more negative things. And so I think people are ready for change. I feel it. I sense it when I'm on the ground and traveling the state. And so I feel confident, Republicans and Democrats will be confident in supporting me because of the message that I'm sending out there, and it resonates with them because it's their own real life that they're experiencing.
You are on the eastern tribal side of the state. There is a thirst for a different path. Where do you stand on these tribal issues and moving forward from what has really just been going head to head since the start.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I will say this, the entire time I've been in the legislature, I've had great relationships and partnerships with our tribal leaders across the state of Oklahoma. Many of them have been great mentors to me. They have set the standard on what it looks like to run a government and take care of your people. And there have been longtime relationships between the state of Oklahoma and our tribes. And what we're experiencing today is truly unprecedented. It's not that there have never been maybe some disagreements, but the leaders have always been able to find a way to come together, and the governor of the state of Oklahoma has always understood, really, whether they're Republican or Democrat, the importance of those partnerships, understanding the history of this state and this country. And so, should I become the next governor, I can promise you that there will be strong partnerships and relationships with our tribes. Just recently, an economic impact statement came out from 2023 that the tribes had a $23 billion economic impact to the state of Oklahoma. So they are true partners. But outside of that, they are sovereign nations, and they should be able to operate that way. Their leaders should have a seat at the table when it comes to the governor. And so I'm looking forward to a new day. I think a lot of people across the state are looking forward to that new day. And it's really disappointing and unfortunate that our current governor just can't quite get there.
Let me ask you kind of a tough question, but I know it's going to happen. I put your name up on that screen. They see that D for Democrat, and there are assumptions of tax raising, woke, you name it. It's all been slung at you. How do you? What is your message to those who have seen that D and want to change the channel?
Well, first I'll say I've already accomplished something that many people said was impossible. I flipped a Republican district that was forever held by Republicans. In fact, the former governor, Mary Fallon, was the state representative of House District 85, which is the district that I represent. And the reason I was able to do that was to stand firm in my values, but also have honest, real, open conversations about the areas that we disagree on, but getting to a place where we have common ground. That's why it's so important for me, even as I'm running for governor, that I'm on the ground talking to Oklahomans face to face. It is unfortunate that we see a political party affiliation and we automatically make certain assumptions, but what I would want people to see is know who Cyndi Munson is. I was raised by a single father who is in the United States Army, who worked multiple jobs to make sure that my sister and I had the best quality of life, and we went to great public schools in Lawton, Oklahoma. I was able to go to college. I'm the first in my family to go to college because of Oklahoma's promise. I have a master's degree. I have worked in the nonprofit sector. So I'm doing things that everyday Oklahomans are doing as well. And so, it's up to me and it's up to voters to get to know each other. But I put out an effort every single day to make sure that I'm on the ground talking to people and talking about the issues that are important to them. And that's what I'll take throughout the campaign. And should I become Oklahoma's next governor, I will bring those issues to the governor's mansion.
So let me ask, because we still have a year between the election date. There's some work that needs to be done in the legislature. The 50th ranking is very upsetting to, I've heard from the business community. What is done now so we don't waste one more year of childhood?
That's a great question, and it is a huge concern amongst families and business leaders and folks who care about the future of our state. And I would say, people, they want to skirt around this issue, but at the end of the day, it is a funding issue. We're $1.6 billion behind regionally when it comes to financial investment for our schools. We are behind regionally, last in the region for teacher pay and support pay. So teachers are leaving the classroom. Our classroom sizes are growing. So we've really got to figure out a way to be courageous enough. I need my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to be courageous enough to push forward a plan that puts more funding into public schools and increases pay for our teachers. There were plans on both sides of the aisle in both chambers to make sure that happened, but because the governor was so adamant about getting our income tax, finding a pathway to zero, those plans did not move forward because there was fear that he would veto any budget that had increases like that. And so I hope we can push past that. We do not want Texas taking our teachers. We want to keep those teachers here in our classroom. The second thing I would say is we've really got to figure out a way to help working families. If you want parents to join the PTA and sit and read with their kids after school, they can't work multiple jobs. We've got to increase our wages. We have to make sure that families are truly taken care of so they can be with their kids, so they can be a part of the educational opportunities and success of their children. Parents want to do that, but they can't do that when they have financial stresses and they're pulled in a million different directions. We know that when families are helping with a child's educational success, they're always better outcomes. But we can't do that when we put so much stress and pressure, especially financial, on our families.
Leader Munson, I'm out of time. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Rick has also talked in depth with Republican gubernatorial candidates Gettner Drummond, Charles McCall, and Mike Mazzei. If you would like to see those unedited interviews, just go to the Fox 23 News Tulsa YouTube page.